Well, Toronto Police and the OPP are announcing the results of the provincial carjacking joint task force and Project Titanium. Let's listen in live.
2023 to March 2024. This task force was brought together to combat the rising violence associated with auto crimes in our communities. Although auto thefts in 2024 are down 28% in Toronto, these crimes have unfortunately contributed to an increase in home invasions, violent robberies, and gun violence throughout our region. Thanks to our collective efforts and funding from the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario, the Provincial Carjacking Joint Task Force achieved some remarkable results. We made 124 arrests, there were 749 criminal charges laid, 8 firearms were seized, and 177 stolen vehicles were recovered. These vehicles were valued at over $10 million. This joint task force exemplifies the commitment of the Greater Toronto Area law enforcement to disrupt the networks behind violent auto thefts and highlights the crucial role of collaboration in tackling issues that affect all of our communities. However, law enforcement is just one part of the solution. It's really concerning that 44% of those arrested were out on bail at the time of their arrest, and 61% were subsequently released on bail yet again. Auto theft remains one of the top revenue generators for organized crime, and this challenge requires a collective effort. We will continue to collaborate with our partners in government, auto manufacturing, insurance, and beyond to address this problem. The strong partnerships we've established through this task force will continue to yield positive results in our fight against organized crime, which OPP Deputy Commissioner Marty Kearns and OPP Detective Inspector Scott Wade will address shortly. Although this joint task force has concluded, our commitment remains unwavering. The Toronto Police Service has established a Toronto Carjacking Task Force to address these crimes locally, and we will continue to work with our law enforcement partners right across the Greater Toronto Area. I want to extend my thanks to the members of the Toronto Police Service, our policing partners, especially our co-lead, the OPP, and Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario for their unwavering dedication to this project. Thank you, and I'll invite Deputy Commissioner Kearns to say a few words.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Johnson, and good morning. On behalf of Commissioner Thomas Carrique and members of the Ontario Provincial Police, thank you for all being here today. Each week, we continue to hear of more and more auto theft occurrences. Some are violent, some involve home invasions. Vehicle crime is a complex issue, but one thing is simple. Our communities deserve to feel safe when they lay their heads down at night. It is the right of every Ontarian to feel at ease in their communities. The Provincial Carjacking Task Force statistics presented by Deputy Chief Johnson show the prevalence of this crime, especially through the Greater Toronto Area. While the Provincial Carjacking Task Force transitioned in April of this year, our work here is not done. The OPP and our partners continue to follow intelligence generated from the outstanding work of the Provincial Carjacking Task Force. In March of this year, the task force identified a criminal network responsible for numerous crimes ranging from armed home invasions, store robberies, break-and-enters, vehicle thefts, and violent carjackings. With this information, the OPP-led Provincial Auto Theft and Towing Team initiated Project Titanium to investigate this criminal network. Project Titanium concluded last week with the Provincial Auto Theft and Towing Team successfully dismantling this criminal network through the execution of numerous search warrants and the arrests of those involved. OPP Detective Inspector Scott Wade will provide further information on the success of this investigation in a moment. Before we hear from Detective Inspector Wade, I want to emphasize that police services across the country are working closely to identify those responsible for vehicle crimes and to hold them accountable. We continue to work with community stakeholders, including insurance companies, manufacturers, and every level of government. Our goal is to find long-term and effective solutions to this significant issue affecting our communities. I want to thank the Toronto Police Service for hosting this event today. Thank you for co-leading the Provincial Carjacking Task Force, and thank you to all our partners that are here today and who have dedicated their members to the Provincial Carjacking Task Force, as well as the Provincial Auto Theft and Towing Team. It is a collective effort to tackle this issue. We will continue to pursue those responsible for auto theft, and I know I speak for all of our partners here today when I say we are stronger together. I now welcome Detective Inspector Scott Wade to provide specific information on Project Titanium. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Kearns. As the Deputy mentioned, Project Titanium began as a direct result of the great work achieved through the Provincial Carjacking Task Force. The OPP Provincial Auto Theft and Towing Team, or the PAT team, worked with members of the Provincial Carjacking Task Force on this investigation to bring an end to the violent occurrences that the accused have been involved in. These occurrences include armed home invasions, store robberies, break-and-enters, vehicle thefts, and carjackings. They have been charged with 103 criminal code offenses, but I want to put an emphasis on the charges related to firearms and robberies. What is alarming about this investigation is that the vehicle thefts were not simply carried out in the middle of the night on an unoccupied target vehicle. Many of the thefts involved violence, some with forceful entry into homes, with demands that the owners hand over the keys to their vehicles. This investigation involved armed robberies, posing a significant risk to public safety. The criminal network involved is tied to more than 100 occurrences, including 21 home invasions and 3 carjackings. We will not allow our individuals to continue instilling fear in our citizens, wondering if their homes will be entered late at night. Law enforcement has a duty to protect and serve, and that is exactly what Project Titanium has aimed to achieve. On June 18th and 19th, 2024, the investigative team executed 4 search warrants at locations throughout Peel Region and Toronto, as well as 6 vehicle search warrants. These search warrants were executed by members from the OPP-led PAT team, the OPP Organized Crime Enforcement Bureau, the OPP Tactics and Rescue Unit, the OPP Central Community Street Crime Unit, the OPP Provincial Asset Forfeiture Unit, the Provincial Repeat Offender Parole Enforcement Squad, as well as Peel Regional Police Tactical and Rescue Unit, the Toronto Police Service Emergency Task Force, York Regional Police Financial Crimes, the Canada Border Services Agency, and uniformed members from Peel Regional Police, York Regional Police, Durham Regional Police Service, Brantford Police Service, and the Sûreté de Quebec. Investigators seized the following items as a result of these warrants: 1 loaded Glock 17 firearm and ammunition, approximately $2,000 in Canadian currency, tools indicative of auto theft, including manual break-in tools and a tool utilized in electronic auto theft, money counters, fraudulent photo identification, stolen vehicle parts, ski masks, and other items of clothing used to disguise identity. Throughout Project Titanium, police have recovered a total of 23 stolen vehicles with an approximate value of $5 million. We have charged 8 individuals with 103 offenses contrary to the criminal code. Please refer to the media release distributed this morning through the OPP News portal, which contains a link to the addendum of charged persons, a graphic, and photos. I stand here today with the goal of reassuring the public that police agencies across the province are banding together to fight this criminality. You rely on your vehicles every day. Your home is meant to be a place of safety. Members of the public can learn how to protect themselves from vehicle crimes by visiting opp.ca/autotheft. Police will continue to work together to pursue criminals who threaten the peace of mind of those we endeavour to protect. I would like to thank our partners on this investigation and every member who assisted with bringing these results to you today. The PAT team is grateful for investigative support from the Niagara Regional Police Service, London Police Service, and Halton Regional Police Service. Thank you for the countless hours you have dedicated to Project Titanium. As Deputy Kearns stated, our work here is not done. The PAT team and our partners will continue to pursue any criminal network responsible for orchestrating vehicle thefts and their related crimes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll now take any questions that you may have. And please ensure that you direct it at.
We've been listening
officer you'd
to
like to speak to.
police officials updating the media on Project Titanium, a project that was involved in multi-police jurisdictions, and getting the results of this. 8 people charged with 103 offenses. This was a very alarming investigation, given the fact that many of these offenses were committed during the daylight. They were violent, involved forceful entries, carjackings. A number of guns were also removed, along with tools for auto thefts, money counters, fraudulent IDs, and we're going to have a lot more on the results of Project Titanium throughout the morning and afternoon.